I'm just going to touch on knowing the parameters. I'm going to focus more on the clinical aspect rather than the technology of it, because technology is actually very dry and to me it's not much relevant to us. Okay, sorry. Okay, when we talk about biometers, we're talking about two things. One is the measurement of the eyeball. The second one is the calculation, the eyeball power calculation. You can dissociate the calculation from the biometers, but most of the modern biometers today, these are integrated. If you think about it, when you prescribe patient glasses or when you do refractive surgery, we all know the patient, for example, glasses have refractive error. We refract the patient, we give the patient glasses. When we do LASIK, they have refractive errors. We do refractions and we do refractive surgery. Therefore, if you think about it, cataract, when you remove the cataract to have good outcome, it is not just the surgery, and especially today when we're doing refractive cataract surgery, our power calculation is very, very important. Another way to look at it is, in fact, there's a question in FDA whether our formulas should be considered as a prescriptive drugs. If you look at antibiotics, there are many different types of antibiotics. They are used for different purposes. They have different side effects. The same with anti-glaucoma. Well, the same for our formulas. There are actually many formulas. Some of the bad formulas, just like bad drugs, we don't use them anymore. And then we keep moving, just like drugs, we move on to the newer drugs, the formula keep moving too, and there are different classes as well. And if you think about it, like for example, for glaucoma, ecotiopic, we don't use anymore because there's a lot of side effects. In our power calculation, if you use SRK or SRK2, and you have a whole lot of patients with bad calculation, is it acceptable? All right. Is it a medical legal problem, especially since SRK2 or SRK has been proven to be inaccurate and you continue to use them to calculate your IOL power for the patient? Well, we're not going to talk so much of that. We're going to concentrate on comparison of biometer. The second part, we will talk about it in my second lecture, the calculation part. Let's look at biometer technology. Today there are three major technologies. First is ultrasound, that has been with us for a long time and will still be with us for a while to go. But its use is going to be less common. The second and third are actually optical biometers, and this can be split into two. One is the interferometry or the refractometry. The second one is, of course, the latest, the Schweppes optical coherent tomography. The interferometry is like the A-scan. The Schweppes optical coherent technologies are like the AB scan. All right, so this is the interferometry, and this is the Schweppes OCT. Now, in all biometers, the most important thing is visual axis, and that comes from fixation. When a patient, what we want to measure is from the corneal vertex to the fovea. And if a patient is looking at a target, and if we are measuring where the patient is looking at, we will be measuring from the corneal vertex to the fovea, and that will be the visual axis. That is the optical excellence. That is what we want. But if the patient is not fixated, all right, then you may not be measuring from the corneal vertex or not even the corneal vertex. And it's a distance between some part of the cornea to some part of the retina that may not be the visual axis. That is not what you want. And this is the problem with ultrasound. Ultrasound, sometimes because you're measuring the eye is obscure, the patient cannot fixate. So it's very important to ask the patient to use a fellow eye and fixate, and that operator does not obscure the vision of the fellow eye. I mean, if it's the right eye, you have to do it from right side. If it's the left eye, you have to do the ultrasound from the left side. In optical biometer, this becomes less of a problem because there's no contact with the eye. The patient still should be able to fixate, and the target is non-image, non-formed target is very close by. So even a very high myopic patient should be able to fixate. Of course, if high myopic, the target, the light source may appear a little bit big. Just ask the patient to look at the center of the light source. All right, but sometimes patient may not look at the light source. So you have to be a bit careful here. Of course, with swab source, that improves further because in swab source technology, you can actually have a 1 mm scan of the fovea, and you can see the fovea peak. If you see a fovea peak, then for sure you know this patient is fixating or something resembling a fovea peak. Sometimes you need not be able to get a very clear picture of the fovea peak, then it should at least resemble the fovea peak. And if you get that, you know the patient is fixating, that is the axial length of 1. And this is the swab source OCT. If you put all the 3 biometers compared together, the ultrasound does not have keratometry. All right, the ultrasound does not have this. You have to have a keratometer. For the other optical biometers, this is integrated. They may use a different technology, but they are integrated. So they have this. The IOL master, the earlier refractometry, interferometry, optical biometry have anterior corneal surface. They have anterior chamber depth, but they don't have lens thickness. They have axial length. With ultrasound, it doesn't have K, but you have anterior chamber depth. You can have the pachymetry as well, the lens thickness, and of course the axial length, or rather the vitreous length. Actually, the axial length they just add all together. In swab source OCT, you have the keratometry, the posterior corneal surface as well, the aqueous depth, all right, the lens thickness, and of course the vitreous length as well. So the swab source probably have the complete picture. The interferometry probably part of the picture. Ultrasound, because if it's not integrated with a K, it has part of the picture. So this is the visual axis. This is what you want to look at. And this is the main difference between the 3 different class of optical biometers. And these are why the later biometers is actually superior, because most of the time refractive surprise, if you look back, fixation is a major problem. Now, the other thing when you look at different optical biometers is that in ultrasound, what you are truly measuring, if you look at the fovea closely, the ultrasound first is a broad beam. So the fovea is a peak. By having a broad beam, the ultrasound can only average. So that's one other problem why it is not as precise. The second reason, that the other thing is ultrasound measure up to the internal limiting membrane. All right? While optical biometers actually measure up to the retinal pigment epithelium layer. Whereas the rod and cone is here. So that again here shows optical biometer measure the optical axial length, while ultrasound actually measure the internal limiting membrane that is just a little bit short. It depends on the retinal thickness. Then fortunately, the variability in retinal thickness isn't very big. So ultrasound is still relatively okay. So let's look at the position clinically. This is the A scan. You can see that axial length standard deviation is 0.12. All right, that is probably about quarter of a diopter. It all depends whether short eye or long eye. And the anterior chamber depth variability is 0.08 mm, not so critical unless you use the modern day formula like High-Gaze or Barrett or something like that. You can see the spread out is quite wide. Applanation, these are the gates. You have the cornea here. Alright, these two are lens thickness. There's the anterior capsule, posterior capsule, and the retina. So from this chart, you know this is an applanation A scan. But please don't do applanation A scan because when you applanate, you can never control the pressure. So sometimes you may indent more, sometimes you may indent less. And therefore the variability of immersion A scan actually is the worst. So I would suggest you get hold of either Hansen's or Prager shell to do immersion A scan. Prager is probably easier, but it's standard size for Asians. Sometimes our eyes are very small, then you can't change the size. Hansen, you can change, they come in many different sizes. You can use the appropriate one for the different corneal diameter. Once you get a hang of it, it's actually very fast, it's very comfortable for the patient, and more importantly, you can see that the spread is much tighter now. It's 0.08, 20% improvement over the applanation, just by simply doing immersion A scan. Of course, if you can get hold of AD scan, most of us don't use this. This is not the B scan and try to measure using color codes. This is a true AB scan, very uncommon. So if you have a B scan, even in immersion, there can be some variability in axial length that can be due to corneal indentation. That is solved by doing immersion. There's straight bridge. This is also applanation, dry eyes, and of course, for whether immersion or applanation, misalignment of the ultrasound beam can be a problem. Sound velocity, choose the right one. Fortunately today, most of them come with presets that are very well determined. Next, we look at optical biometry. Just look at the base, it's so much better now, reaching 80–90% between the center and then the axial length standard deviation now is 0.01 mm. That's a lot better than ultrasound. Optical ECD is slightly better. Okay. If you do meta-analysis now, the optical has been proven to be far superior than ultrasound. And if you look at the sources of error, if you look at axial length as a source of error, with ultrasound, you can say there's a big contributor. Once you go into optical, it becomes not significant anymore, and the rest becomes bigger, relatively speaking. Okay. And the swab source, of course, supposed to have even better reproducibility, but so far papers that's published show that it is not significantly better than the old interferometry. The advantage, of course, the swab source is an AB scan, you can see a lot more, and there are new features like total corneal powers coming out with the swab source. Well, whatever system you use, it is important that you know the system and you analyze the chart. This is analyzing the graph, all right? And the graph is all about interfacing. This is an ultrasound, there is gate, this is the cornea, this is the anterior capsule, this is posterior capsule, and this is the retinal gate. There are usually 4 gates. The ultrasound determines itself. If you go back 30 years, you have to set the gate itself. Most ultrasound today are fine. This is corneal thickness. Like I said, if this obviously, like I said, it's an immersion ultrasound, because there's a separate spike for cornea. In applanation, this is merged and you cannot actually measure corneal thickness. So C1, C2 is cornea. This is lens thickness, anterior capsule, posterior capsule, and there's actually a plateau before you taper off. So this is a good alignment. This is a misalignment, it's a tilted probe. You can see the runoff is very fast. If you have this, it means the patient is not fixating well. You have to be careful. Again, this is an optic disc. It runs off very fast. Like I said, anything that runs off very fast, no good. You need to have a plateau before it runs off. And what is this? There's an extra spike here, alright? This spike, this is the true spike, but this is the retinal. This patient has retinal detachment. There's some additional spike here, so if you look at the gaze here, you're going to find that it's a very sharp eye. Alright, when you see something like that, be very careful, find out where the gaze is. So you always have to look at the sonogram and not just look at this number. So if you readjust it, you go from 22.75 to 23.05, and then you can go in to do the retinal detachments. Presumably vitrectomy, because if you do a buckling, you're going to change the axial length post-operatively. And then you choose this power over the previous one, because the previous one, the patient post-operatively will end up with myopia. Staphyloma is another problem, because the staphyloma, the fovea need not be the most posterior part, and that becomes a challenge when you measure them, because in ultrasound you really have to have a lot of experience. Alright, this is where it runs off very fast in the staphyloma because it's tilted. Alright, if you want to look at a plateau, you're going to measure a lot more longer because it's the most posterior part, but the fovea, like I said, is not the posterior part. You have to readjust accordingly, and you find that there's slight difference, 29.62, 29.34. But you can tell the difference because if the patient fixates well, you can see there's a lot of variability. For optical biometry, you have to look at the interferogram. You want to see this spike. It shouldn't be split. If it's a split, double spike, equally you have to be careful. It is a high spike followed by a slightly shorter spike. It's the kind, it is not, the spikes are not separated. If you're happy with that, that's fine. But this chart, there is something else wrong with this chart. If you look at curvatometry, this is blank, there's a 2 cross there. This means the third curvatometric measurement is not reliable. 2 out of 6 centroids have a problem. Alright, that's why I say you always look at the gram. You don't just try to get the best biometer. The gram itself is important. For this patient, it's better to repeat. Could it be dry eyes? Could it be something else? This is lens star. Now today, most of these optical biometers are computer driven, so they have a lot of flagging alerts. This means the right and left is very different. This means it's not reliable, it's not reliable. There's so many unreliable signs. Please repeat, and if you cannot get it right that day, ask the patient to come back another day or get another biometrist to repeat the test. But more importantly, this is the lens star again. There are 4 measurements. You've got to make sure the 4 measurements here, different indicated by different color, are as close to one another as possible. Alright. Actually, lens star takes 5 measurements. Okay, this is 4. I think 1 probably has been deleted because it's unreliable. Because in lens star, it's average all the 5 measurements. So you have 1 erroneous measurement, you're going to skew the average reading wrongly too. Alright, so have a good look. Once you can see that this is also gate, this is anterior capsule, posterior capsule, anterior cornea, posterior cornea, and the retinal pig. As long as they are close together, as long as the numbers are close together, then only you accept it for our power calculation, otherwise don't. And this is SWAP source, the latest. What do I look for? Well, you can look at this chart, you can see the dots are fairly good. The standard deviation, of course, excellent standard deviation can be quite different, depends on the density of the cataract. Alright, ACD 11, they are not too bad as long as they are between 10 to 20 microns. But here is the one you have to pay more attention. If it's more than 5 microns, it usually either indicates that the patient has irregular cornea, or more likely the patient has dry eyes. Alright? If it's less than 6 microns, you take it, otherwise repeat again. The problem with optical biometers is the dense cataract, you cannot read. All ultrasound will read. Here we show you the different penetration. This is with IO, the interferometry, not the SWAP source. Alright, these are what that cannot be read. This is, we have to still rely on ultrasound. The work process is optical biometers followed by ultrasound. But if with the SWAP source, we are able to read even denser cataract up to 95% now, from 80% to 95%, and the use of ultrasounds has dropped to 5%. Your clinic may be different because your cataract profiles may be different. Alright, but here it shows that ultrasound is able to read all cataract, even though it may not be the most reliable. Interferometry can read quite a number of them, but there are quite a number that cannot be read. With SWAP source, that penetration improves, but it's still not 100%. Alright? So, this is a chart that put everything together, ultrasound, optical, and SWAP source. Precisions, of course, SWAP source and interferometry is better. Variability, SWAP source and interferometry is less. The limits for ultrasound is from cornea to the internal limiting membrane. For this too is from cornea to the retinal pigment epithelium. Keratometry for ultrasound is separate, for optical is integrated. Ultrasound gives you cornea thickness, aqueous depth, lens thickness, vitreous length. Optical, the interferometry, just K, ACD, axial length, and retinal thickness. This is usually not given, alright? Some give, like Lenstar will give you, but IO Master will not give you, but SWAP source will give you almost everything in the eye. How do you do fixation check? With ultrasound, you use the fellow eye. For optical, you make sure the patient fixates directly. For SWAP source, you do a foveal check. What about penetration? Ultrasound, all cataract, optical, mild to moderate, SWAP source is moderate to dense. The display, look at ultrasonogram. For optical, it's just an interferogram, and for SWAP source, we give you a tomogram. What is the operator skill required? Ultrasound, the operator has to be very well trained. For optical, they have to be trained, but it's less operator dependent. Efficiency, of course, ultrasound is not very good, especially if you do immersion. Not too bad, but not too good. Optical, and especially SWAP source, is very good. Optical can be faster, can be slower, it depends on the make. The modern one will alert you to all kinds of situations. Ultrasound may not do so. Calibration, ultrasound is voluntary. For optical, some are voluntary, but some are enforced. Calibration means every morning when you turn on the machine requires you to calibrate first. Alright? And the more modern the system, the more it enforces you to calibrate it every time you turn it on. Alright, so with that, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Han Bo. So it looks like the sort of SWAP source biometer is the way to go, and I think if your center can afford it, that's the way to go. So I think we're running a bit late, so let's stop it this early first session for now. Thanks to all the speakers. Let's take a 15-minute break for tea and the toilet.